We're at Jeff Bynes' place here just out of east of Oregon on a dune seepage site. We've established piezometers just at the breaker slope here where this piezometer is, and the water table today is at 2.5 metres below natural surface, so it's relatively close but not too far down. The salinity of these bores here up about between 3,000 and 4,000 EC, so relatively fresh, quite suitable for all the current tree species and treatments we might do here. The landholder established tall wheatgrass in a strip in the distance over here. You can see that it's established quite well 4 years ago. A year ago we came and hand spread puccinellia in this bare area here where it was too saline for tall wheatgrass to establish on the surface. And you can see here behind this bit of sheep enclosure is the difference between grazing and not grazing last summer. He had sheep in here over summer, and where the grazing's been excluded there's really good ground cover of puccinellia, and out beyond it, whilst there's some puccinellia and it's coming back, nowhere near as many, and there's actually seed seems to be even germinating this year. There's small plants coming up here, which is a good sign, but again, if it's not particularly fenced or sheep kept out this summer, again we'll lose a lot of those small plants. But that's the disadvantage, I guess, of livestock and trying to reclaim these areas without some sort of a protective fence. Where the tall wheatgrass is over summer this year, there was only about 6 metre wide strip of tall wheatgrass that was actively growing over summer. So that strip was utilising all the water, has established over 20 metres or more of the salt pan, even further, and as the water's been utilised, it doesn't get beyond that 5 or 6 metre strip now of tall wheatgrass. That's enough to utilise the water coming out of this dune. And down further here, this is just seepage, and the salt's come up, but there's actually no water table beyond this. There's a water table under here, but where the tall wheatgrass is, there's no water table beyond the tall wheatgrass. It's completely intercepted all the moisture. The total of the management in the future of this site is the landholder who's going to establish one row of trees at the breaker slope, or a little bit about 5 metres up into the area up here. They're going to be a series of step down trees, about 20 metre spacing, probably be either inland red gum or swamp yate, and they'll be grown in a parallel line to what he cultivates, and then step down, and there'll be 2 or 3 steps basically following the breaker slope. So that's his management in the future, and we're hoping that in 10 or so years time, whilst it's important to establish ground cover on those areas to get the salt back down, the trees will be enough to utilise the moisture year in, year out, and create that dry zone at the breaker slope to intercept seepage from most years in future. But we're now aiming just to try and get cover onto these areas to try and leach the salt down to bring this soil back. And I have seen sites like this eventually, like where that tall wheatgrass is all growing, and it's got good cover. In 5 or 10 years time there's every chance we'll be able to recrop those areas, as long as we don't get moisture running through and bringing up more salt again in the future. Same before, the puccinellia is a really good coloniser of these saline areas, as long as they have water underneath. It's less than for puccinellia about 30,000 EC. Tall wheatgrass fizzles out at about 10 to 15,000 EC. So you have got quite a broader range of tolerance of the grasses. But above that 30,000 EC, literally nothing will grow long term in salinity of those readings. So the importance of water table salinity, I can't overemphasise that. It's still my critical determinant of what you do to these areas. You can establish cover in some years on any amount of salt. You put mulch or sand or something on it, but that's the long term, what you're trying to do on those sites. It's more critical than the short term covering them up.